I want to introduce a famous Chinese-American composer, violinist Chen Yi. Firstly, I will do the introduction of Chen Yi. Secondly, I may demonstrate the background of work Romance and Dance. And later, I may narrate Romance and Dance and other works of Chen Yi for violin. Finally, I may explain how Chen Yi used some extended techniques in the Romance and Dance. Chen Yi was born on 4th of April in 1953 and raised in Guangzhou, China. She has lived in the USA since 1986. Chen Yi is a Chinese-American composer of contemporary classical music, as well as a violinist. She is well known as a composer. Chen Yi lived for many years in New York City and studied composition with Chen and Maria Davidovsky at Columbia University, earning a DMA with distinction. She is a professional composer. She wrote for violin, piano, marimba, cello, flute, saxophone, B-flat clarinet, percussion, guitar, and pipa. She created 18 solo pieces, 24 chamber ensemble for 2 performers, 35 chamber ensemble for 3 or more performers, 31 vocal or choral works, 6 chorus and ensemble, 24 orchestral works, 21 orchestras of soloists, 5 bands or wind ensemble. I'd like to emphasize her violin works, especially her works Romance and Dance. When I knew that I needed to perform Romance and Dance in my graduation recital, I began to do some research on the background of this work and its composer Chen Yi. Chen Yi is known for her successful fusion of Chinese and American musical styles, as well as Romance and Dance is an excellent example of this. In 1995, Chen composed the first movement of this work and named it Romance of Xia and Qin for strings and 2 violins, and then created alternative versions for violin and piano, cello and piano, and erhu and piano. Now, let's appreciate the part 1, Romance of Xia and Qin, created for 2 violins and string orchestras. Also in 1998, Chen created the second movement Dance for string orchestra and 2 violins. In the same year, the composition in its original version was premiered by Maestro Dennis Rossell Davis conducting the Stuttgart Chamber Orchestra on December 12 of 1998 with Benjamin Hudson and Wolfgang Kasimir as soloists. Chen Yi subsequently created a version for violin and piano in 1999, and this is the version I need to play. This work was published by Sodor Kreiser Company in 2001. Let's watch the second part of these works. Romance and Dance was written in the middle period of Chen Yi. Before creating this work, she had written The Fisherman's Son, whose name looks like a Chinese work. Fisherman's Son was created in the 1980s, which is the early period of Chen. It was published by Theodore Presser Company in 1987. However, she named this work as Romance and Dance in a Western custom, which improved the expression of the international performers and audiences. This Western customized name also referred to the style of this period. It's mature American works with some Chinese elements and characteristics. Now is a question. Do you know how Chen Yi, in a more natural and perfect way, fused Chinese characteristics into Western composition forms? In this piece, she used variation techniques, including flowery variation, 加花, transforming a tune through improvised techniques. The first one is the illustration of flowery variation in the dance. The second of them is the same pattern without flowery variation. After that, Chen Yi also used the Chinese national mood, which refers to the five-tune mood, composed of the five tunes of Gong, Shang, Jue, Zhi, and Yu, and seven-tune moods based on the five tunes. Gong, Shang, Jue, Zhi, and Yu only have a fixed interval relationship among the sound levels, but not a fixed pitch. They can move up the pitch with a fixed pitch, like a roll call, but they are not a roll call. Some people advocate calling them scale names, that is the name of each level in the pentatonic scale. Besides that, all the hemitonic are distinguished by different arrangements of major seconds and minor thirds. It shows the same moods starting on a fixed pitch along with their characteristics interval patterns. The first scale is a five-tune mood, composed of the one tune called Gong. The second scale is a seven-tune mood based on the five tune, which is Chinese heptatonic scale. In each of the Chinese heptatonic scales, the red tune called partial tune can be added to the five-tune mood to make it become the seven-tune mood. Each partial tune can be used to improve the structure of five mood and provides adjustable color and luminance. Therefore, I take an example of Qingyue scale. Now we can extract the seven-tune scale, contrast with each level of Chinese seven-tune moods. Mi, Shen, Fa, Shen, So, La, 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 Xi, La, Xi, Shen, Do, Shen, Yue, Mi. Yeah, and it's And as the 7-tune scale level listed as above, this fixed interval relationship among the scale names can be related to the Qingyue scale. Due to the key signature being Yi, and the scale arranged by the levels of Gong, added two partial tunes, Fa and Xi. Therefore, this work makes use of the Yi Gong Qingyue scale. After that, it is a chamber ensemble work, which is played by violin and piano. There are two movements, the first of which was named Romance of Xiao and Chen, the second of which was Dance. The material of the first movement, Romance of Xiao and Chen, is the style of Southern Chinese music. This work covers two kinds of Chinese international instruments, the xiao to be translated to the violin, and the qin to be converted to the piano. Xiao is a vertical bamboo flute which has a pure and natural tune influence. Xiao always performs emotional melodies with frequent grace notes. The qin is a 7-string zinger played by both hands plectrums. It can be played with slides, concordant, and small beats that produce rich and varied timbres. Xiao and qin are often played together, investigating a balance in sonority and timbre. She makes good use of the lyrical character of these two instruments that coincide with some ways of performance in this composition. At present, we can learn some duet ensemble with qin and xiao. We can know whether the tune and intonation of qin and xiao is similar to the violin and piano in the romance and dance. The second movement, Dance, is modeled after tunes from the Peking opera. She used some scales of erhu, such as on-glide and off-glide, in the first phrase of the second movement. When it comes to the second phrase, the impressive material in the violin part comes from the jinghu, one of the Chinese traditional instruments always used in the Beijing Opera Orchestra. These characteristics about Jinghu and Beijing Opera can attract many multicultural audiences' curiosity of Chinese culture. Here is a video I played the first phrase of the dance. When it comes to the second phrase, Chen Yi also imitated the intonation of Jinghu in Beijing Opera. Here is a video I played. I hope this one can help you understand the intonation of Beijing Opera. The fusion of different kinds of Chinese instruments formed the distinctive musical style of Chen Yi. There is a material I collected about Jinghu performance. During these years, Chen Yi has become one of the most famous female composers known for her Chinese American style on contemporary classical music. She has inspired a lot of Chinese composers, and many of her works have gained a high reputation around the world. Chen has also won quite a few honors and awards during her career. Chen was a finalist for the 2006 Pulitzer Prize for Music, one of the most famous and influential awards in the USA, for her composition 四季 Four Seasons. She has also received numerous awards as well as fellowships from the Guggenheim Foundation and the National Endowment for the Arts. In addition to this, she is also active in taking quite a few social positions. She has served on the Advisory Council of the American Composers Orchestra since 1993 and of the International Alliance for Women in Music since 1995. She has served on the board of directors of Chamber Music American since 2002. Despite so much work, she still works hard on composition. She has just released a new album, Concerts for String Instruments. Therefore, we can see that Chen Yi has great enthusiasm for composition and is a hardworking and fruitful composer throughout her career. Thank you for your watching.